Here we have verse 1 of the 9th chapter of the Gospel of John. We have just finished a lengthy discussion of Jesus' conversation with a rising crescendo of tension with the religious leaders, culminating in that magnificent statement from Jesus that is so unambiguous it just leaves us aghast with its clarity when he says, "Before Abraham was, ego eimi, I am Yahweh," claiming for himself the name of God that was so commonly understood from the Greek version of the Old Testament. And of course, the religious leaders have a perfectly predictable response to that particular statement, and they take up stones to stone Jesus, but he simply walks away. He spirits himself out of the group and somehow or other escapes their attempts to do him in. And then we pick up the story here, certainly a continuation of the same sense of the narrative, but now a new scene, you might say, beginning with the word kai, the standard connective, and paragon. Paragon is a combination of a couple of words, para, which means alongside or beside, and ago, which means I lead. And so to lead alongside is the idea, but the general sense in which it's rendered is something like passing along, or as he was going along or passing away from the scene. And it really does follow nicely from what we read in the previous verse. So he passed out of the crowd, he's passing along, aden, third person singular, aorist active indicative of blepo, I see. It's second aorist, of course. So he saw anthropon. So passing along the way, he saw a man. And then to describe the man, we have what amounts to a noun, but it's a noun in apposition to the previous noun. So it's a man, a blind one is the idea, blind man. And we're told ek, preposition takes the genitive genetes. This is the genitive of the word genete, which refers to birth. It's a feminine noun here in the genitive case. So Jesus passing along sees a man blind from his birth. Of course, we can't help but draw the connection. He's been talking to religious leaders who were claiming that they could see so well, and yet, in fact, they were certainly blind. They couldn't see anything of Jesus' claims, the truth of what he was claiming. And now, almost as if it's going to be a great prophetic object lesson, we come across a man who, in fact, was blind from birth, very much as those religious leaders had been, except in this case it's a physical blindness, whereas in their case it's a spiritual blindness. But we're going to see the miraculous display of God's power through Christ at this point, and that introduces the story that unfolds for us here in this 9th chapter of John.